In the previous lessons, you learned about one sample test using z-test and t-test. So ngayon naman, pag-aaralan natin yung test kapag dalawang means or dalawang proportions ang kino-compare natin. So ang unang pag-aaralan natin is the z-test. It can also be used to assess the difference between two population means when the standard deviation is known. And this is the formula for the z-test. I-minus natin yung mga sample means, i-minus din natin yung mga population means over the square root of sigma squared 1 over n1 plus sigma squared 2 over n2. Pero, we assume in our examples that mu1 is equal to mu2. So we can reduce this into z is equal to x bar 1 minus x bar 2 over the square root of sigma squared 1 over n1 plus sigma squared 2 over n2. So assumptions for the z-test for two means, both samples should be randomly selected and the samples must be independent of each other, meaning there can be no relationship between the subjects in each sample. And either n is greater than or equal to 30 or the population follows a normal distribution when n is less than 30. Given two random samples of 35 people each, Group A spends an average of 39.6 hours per week on leisure activities, while Group B spends 35.4 hours, with population standard deviation of 6.3 and 5.8 hours, respectively. At a significance level of 0.05, is there a significant difference in average leisure time between the two groups? So first step, we will write the hypothesis. So ginawa ko siyang sentence form kasi ganito nyo naman siya isusulat doon sa inyong AA. So there is no significant difference between the average number of hours spent in leisure activities of Group A and Group B. Or in symbols, ito yung kanyang itsura. And our alternative hypothesis, there is a significant difference between the average number of hours spent in leisure activities of Group A and Group B. And this is our claim. You can also write in symbols na parang ganito. Now for step 2, using our formula, we found out that z is equal to 2.9016. Since p is less than alpha, we reject the null hypothesis. We conclude that there is not enough evidence to support the claim. There is a significant difference in average leisure time spent between the two groups. A researcher suggests that the average number of sports offered by colleges for males exceeds that for females. In a random sample of 50 sports offerings for both genders, the mean for males is 8.6 and for females is 7.9, with both having a population standard deviation of 3.3. At a significance level of 0.10, is there sufficient evidence to support this claim? So for step 1, our null hypothesis is that there is no significant difference between the average number of sports offered for males and for females, while our alternative hypothesis is that the average number of sports offered for males is greater than that for females, and this is our claim. For step 2, our z is equal to 1.0606 with a p-value of 0.1444. Since p is greater than alpha, we do not reject the null hypothesis. We conclude that there is enough evidence to support the claim. There is no significant difference between the average number of sports offered for males and females. The z-test can also be used to assess the difference between two proportions. So, ang formula naman natin is p hat 1 minus p hat 2 minus p1 minus p2 all over the square root of p bar q bar times 1 over n1 plus 1 over n2. So tulad dun sa ating z-test for 2 means, etong part na to, p1 minus p2, is assumed to be equal to 0. So we can now reduce this formula as p hat 1 minus p hat 2 all over square root of p bar q bar over 1 plus n1 plus 1 over n2. So paano ngayon natin hanapin yung p bar and q bar? So meron din tayong formula for that. P bar is equal to x1 plus x2. Ito yung kung ilan yung nasa proportion natin divided by n1 plus n2. Ito naman kung ilan yung sample sa proportion natin. Then q bar is just equal to 1 minus p bar. So assumptions for z-test for two proportions. Both samples were randomly selected. The samples must be independent of each other, and for both samples, NP should be greater than 5 and NQ should be greater than 5. Example number 3. Researchers found that 12 out of 34 small nursing homes and 17 out of 24 large nursing homes had vaccination rates below 80%. At a significance level of 0.05, test whether there is a difference in proportions of small and large nursing homes with vaccination rates below 80%. So, ito yung X1 natin, ito yung N1, ito yung X2, ito yung N2. So, for the first step, our null hypothesis is that the proportion for small nursing homes is equal to the proportion for large nursing homes. And our alternative hypothesis is that they are not equal, and that is our claim. For step 2, unahin muna nating hanapin yung p-bar. So our p-bar is equal to 12 plus 17 over 34 plus 24, which is 1 half. And our q-bar is 1 minus 1 half, which is 1 half. Now, we can proceed to finding the z value or the test statistic. So z now is equal to 12 over 34 minus 17 over 24, so that is your p hat 1 minus p hat 2, divided by the square root of 1 half times 1 half times 1 over 34 plus 1 over 24. So that's your p bar q bar times 1 over n1 plus 1 over n2. Then that gives us a z equal to negative 2.6661 with a p-value of 0.0077. Since p is less than alpha, we reject the null hypothesis. Therefore, we conclude that there is enough evidence to support the claim, and that there is a significant difference in proportions of small and large nursing homes with vaccination rates below 80%. Example number 4. In a survey of 200 randomly selected male and female workers, 100 in each group, 7% of males and 11% of females reported working more than 5 days per week. At a significance level of 0.01, can it be concluded that the percentage of males working more than 5 days per week is less than that of females? So step 1, our HO is that the proportion of males is equal to the proportion of females. And for our HA, the proportion of males is less than that of the proportion of females. And that is our claim. For step 2, kunin muna natin yung X1, N1 natin at yung X2, N2. Since alam natin that P hat of male is equal to 7%, so that is 7 over 100 kasi 100 yung N natin. So eto ngayon yung X1 natin, eto yung N1. For the proportion of females, that's 11%. So since ang N natin is 100, so that is 11 over 100. This is our X2, this is our N2. Now we proceed to find the P bar and the Q bar. P bar now is equal to 7 plus 11 over 100 plus 100, so that is 0.09. And our Q bar is 1 minus 0.09, or that is 0.91. Since alam na natin yung P bar and Q bar, we can now proceed to find our Z statistic. So Z gives us a negative 1.0055 with a p-value of 0.15 0.73. Since P is greater than alpha, we do not reject the null hypothesis. We therefore conclude that there is not enough evidence to support the claim. There is no significant difference in the percentage of males working more than 5 days to that of females.